philanthropist. Once a title only bestowed upon the wealthy, who gave of their riches to help the underserved, support the arts, or to fund endowments at institutions of higher learning. But modern philanthropists are no longer only the super rich or the politically and economically powerful. Thanks in part to the creation of the community foundation concept in the early 20th century, almost anyone with a passion for helping others or a desire to create a personal giving legacy can claim that same lofty title once reserved for our wealthiest citizens. The Greenwood County Community Foundation makes charitable giving easy, personal, and permanent. Many individuals and organizations in our community have already created funds through which they carry out their philanthropic missions, or as long-term investments in their own sustainability. The reasons for starting a fund with the foundation are as diverse as the people who create them. We spoke with several to hear their stories. Here's what they had to say.
About 7 years ago, a group of people came together with a very generous donor, and the thought was to form a community foundation. I had been involved with the community foundation that was not in Greenwood and saw all of the good things that it had done and the spectrum of projects that it covered. And so I was very interested in being involved with the formation of a community foundation for Greenwood. Greenwood's certainly large enough to have a community foundation, and it is the projects that are needed in Greenwood are so vast and so varied that one particular person or even one small group of people cannot really cover the variety of projects and needs that are needed in Greenwood. So the community foundation came from the need in Greenwood to have a wide spectrum of projects to help in a lot of different areas.
You know, having lived in this community all of my life, you know, having worked in education with disabilities and special needs, having served in local politics. I served in local politics for 25 years, 11 years city council, 14 years as the mayor. And when you're in a community and you know the community, you know the needs of the community. Many needs cannot be met by the government, but they are needs. And so when you think about a community foundation, the first thing, community, that means everyone. That means looking out for all of the needs to try to make a better quality of life for everybody in the community. So when I thought about the idea of a community foundation, I thought that was great, because they're going to be assisting people here in our community with the needs that government cannot make. And you know, there are certain limitations on government, especially with nonprofits. But those nonprofits serve so many basic needs that people have here in our community. And I think it is incumbent upon us as citizens of this community to help those less fortunate individuals who are affected by the nonprofit by doing whatever we can. And that's why I've always been an advocate for giving back to help those people in the community, because it's our responsibility.
The Community Foundation has provided me with a framework that I can be in the background and support significantly these activities that people that share the passion, have a different skill set than I do, that could get out and work with a particular charity or a particular need, and then I could do what I could do from the backside and not be the face of the charity, but help fund it. Just provide support, long-term support, or short-term through either one of the funding vehicles that the Community Foundation provides.
In honor of our centennial, we decided to create an agency fund to provide scholarships for Greenwood County high school graduates. The scholarships are being offered to students who attend Lander University or Piedmont Technical College. The Greenwood Chamber is proud to partner with the Greenwood County Community Foundation to fund educational opportunities for our community's future workforce.
My late wife, Barbara, loved music, so dedicated, and was always so impressed and involved and impressed with and involved in the music and the arts in Greenwood, serving on boards and attending all concerts, loved music. And before she passed away, I discussed with her so that she would appreciate establishing the Barbara Holbrook Parham Music Trust, the income of which has to be spent for a musical event in Greenwood each year. Having been so blessed and so fortunate to have been able to live in this community, dear, how could I do anything less than try to give back for the future for having been so blessed and representing my family and all that we've experienced here. It's just been a wonderful life in Greenwood. Wouldn't change it for anything.
We thought about things that had influenced our life. The Community Foundation seemed to be the intersection of a lot of those things. I think of faith is a big part of our life, and I look at the Jeremiah 29, for example, talks about how when you bring flourishing to a city, it actually brings flourishing to yourself and your family. And that makes sense to me. And that is an influence in the way that we choose to give and how we choose to give through the foundation. Family, certainly, is an influence, and this man here and my mom have been incredible role models at this idea of stewardship. The Greenwood Community Foundation is certainly a convenient way to do that. There's all of these tax reasons you can do it and the technical reasons for it, and they're all true. But I think maybe sometimes overlooked is that it's a very strategic way to give that is consistent with our own desires to give back.
Well, I have two funds at the foundation. One is endowed, and of course what endowed means is that the money that is utilized from that fund every year is only a percentage of what the fund has earned, so that the fund continues to grow. I can expect that fund to continue long after I'm gone. I also have a fund that is there for more immediate needs, so that if I have something, in fact we titled this fund A Time to Give. If something does appear during the course of a year where the money is needed for some particular issue, for instance, there might be some disaster in Greenwood and I would like to have a source of funds to provide for that particular relief, then I have that fund also.
We had established a scholarship with Lander some years ago on my birthday. And so to combine those two, we decided to bequest to the Community Foundation a sum of money to be used to continue that scholarship once we were no longer here and able to do that. So that was, I think, the impetus for us for starting the fund with the Community Foundation, and for doing it in that manner because we wanted that scholarship to continue to be available for the students at Lander that needed it.
Another great aspect of the Greenwood County Community Foundation is the agency fund that has allowed us, the Arts Center, to establish an endowment. Several years ago, the Arts Center received a request from the estate of Virginia Self. With that funding in place and by raising some matching funds, the Arts Center was able to establish an endowment. These funds will again focus on our youth education programs and offering those programs and opportunities to the wide audience in Greenwood County. So thank you, Community Foundation, for this opportunity as well.
Several years ago, the board of directors at Meg's House decided to look at sustainability. So the board looked at the Greenwood County Community Foundation and setting up an endowment. They voted on that endowment, and we've been extremely pleased with that decision. And we're also pleased with the fact that the staff at the Greenwood County Community Foundation help us manage that endowment. So the next step is to work closely with the staff at the Greenwood County Community Foundation to grow that fund via estate planning and legacy gifts with our donors.
Philanthropy comes from the Greek word, the love of humanity. That to me is a guiding principle as to why philanthropic giving exists and why the creation of the Greenwood County Community Foundation is so vital, not only to success today as a community, but also success for future generations. There are two key core mission statements that drive Samir and I to being invested in Greenwood at various philanthropic levels, but particularly the Greenwood County Community Foundation. Primarily, quoting scripture, for those to whom much is given, much is required. And also, by the great Mahatma Gandhi, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Both of these entities, along with the structured, strategic giving that the Community Foundation allows, has connected Samir and I to our passions and to channel our giving into effective and focused ways. The Community Foundation lends this vehicle to donors of all capacities to channel their passions, their vision, and their legacy into developing a targeted and focused philanthropic gift for their life mission. All of us can surely agree that Greenwood has been a blessing to us and the lives that it has allowed us to lead. Why not take these blessings and be a blessing to others?
The Greenwood County Community Foundation. What do you want to do for your community? Let us help you make it happen.